Welcome to How to Create a Lesson Plan. I'm Jonathan Hughes, founder and director of Behold, Messianic Jewish Education, and Sparks of Messiah Online Torah School. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of creating fantastic lesson plans based on the gradual release of responsibility model. Don't worry, it isn't as complicated as it sounds, and I really think you are going to enjoy the ease at which this way of lesson planning provides. During the last video, we talked about how to create a good learning objective. If you haven't watched that video, stop and go back to watch it before continuing with this one. You will need the information about creating a good learning objective to be able to understand the content from this video. For this video, we are going to use the learning objective. Students will be able to compose a song based on Yeshua's teachings about charity. This learning objective will guide us throughout the process of creating our actual lesson. But first, let me tell you a little bit about the gradual release of responsibility model of lesson planning. This is really a fancy phrase, but is quite simple in its application. Basically, this model recognizes the fact that students will need to see the learning objective being met by the teacher, then work in partners or small groups to practice meeting the learning objective, and finally, they will have to demonstrate they can meet the learning objective on their own. The gradual release of a responsibility model can also be summarized as having three sections. The I do part, when the teacher demonstrates how to meet the learning objective. The we do part, where the students work together to meet the learning objective. And finally, the you do part, where the student must demonstrate they can meet the objective on their own. Not only does this model of lesson planning guide the students through the whole process, ensuring they have a strong foundation of how to meet the learning objective before they must try it on their own, but it also makes for easy lesson planning. The lesson creator only needs to find resources or activities to plug into the three sections of the lesson plan. Let me demonstrate. With our example learning objective of students will be able to compose a song based on the Yeshua's teachings about charity. The I do part of the lesson, where the teacher demonstrates meeting the objective, could be an activity in which the teacher demonstrates for the class how they would take a part of a well-known song and change the lyrics to be about Yeshua's teaching on charity. The teacher would go through each of the steps of selecting a song, finding the lyrics, and editing part of them to be about Yeshua's teachings on charity. The teacher does not need to compose an entire song, but should demonstrate enough of the process for the kids to understand how to do it. The second activity of the lesson would be the we do part, where the students work together to compose a song about Yeshua's teachings on charity. The teacher could even have the students work on changing the lyrics of another verse of the song they chose in the I do part. The partners or small groups would use the skills they just saw the teacher demonstrate to rewrite the lyrics and share them with the class. Working in partners or small groups will allow the students to practice meeting the learning objective, but with the immediate assistance of others if they get stuck. Finally, the last part of the lesson would be the you do part, where the students meet the learning objective on their own. Here, they will use what they learned from the teacher, work in with other students, and then create their own song. This can be a longer assignment than the I do and we do parts. For example, they might be asked to create an entire new song instead of just changing one part. Another way to look at the I do, we do, you do model is the first part is a teacher-directed activity. The second part is a partner or small group activity. And the last part is an individual activity. Each of the activities are directly tied to the learning objective. To help you come up with activities for your lessons, we have created examples of I do, we do, and you do activities. These will be made available with this training. Please let us know if you have any activities to add. We would love to expand our list for others to use. The last part of a good lesson plan is the assessment. This is where you indicate what you are using as evidence that the students met the learning objective. This is often the you do activity, but could also be a smaller activity they do before leaving class. The purpose of the assessment is for the teacher to be able to get immediate feedback on if the lesson was successful or if there are areas the students still need to work on. All right, now you're ready to start creating your own lessons. Remember, I do, we do, you do.